First, though, give Labor enough time in charge federally, and they eventually get around to doing the bidding of their benefactors, the trade unions. Now, here we have history repeating itself, as we all knew it would when the Albanese government was elected. IR laws are Labor's Holy Grail, and it seems this term it is the ambitious Workplace Relations Minister and fellow Anthony Albanese warrior of the hard left who intends to marshal IR law changes through the Parliament that will go a long way to unionising many of the parts of the economy that operate at the moment perfectly well without unionised labour. Now, Tony Burke has been almost evangelical in singing the praises of how these law changes, he calls them modest and impacting on few people. First up, he had a press club speech and then a passionate defence of the changes in the face of industry opposition when answering a Dorothy Dixer question in Parliament today.
If you actually believe that some of the most vulnerable workers in Australia should have no minimum standards, that they should have to rely on tips to make ends meet, if that's the version of Australia that those opposite believe in, because I'll say that's the version of Australia they intend to vote for, then defend the argument.
This will get worse from Tony Burke. Now, employers have lined up in one united voice to predict, if made law, that this could cost them $9 billion in extra wages over the next 10 years. Now, no one really knows if that figure is accurate, and that would be, I would imagine, a prediction at best. But a simple question for me, why in a light labour market with low unemployment and competition driving up wages would you want to throw this grenade into an already wobbling economy? I mean, the simple answer, really, it's in Labor's DNA and the unions expect it. The union movement doesn't like independent contractors who don't pay union dues and operate as small businesses. Simple as that. According to costings in the Australian newspaper, for example, minimum pay standards for those working in the digital economy alone would be $4 billion. I mean, that, of course, means you pay more for your Deliveroo or your Uber Eats or your Uber taxi ride, if that's your thing. How can that be a good thing, though, when the nation is desperately trying to rein in inflation? And what does the government and unions think small business will do if every one of them employing more than 15 people will do this if it becomes law? So if you've got 15 or less, then you don't get the change applied to you. If you have over 15, well, then it does. I'd hate to be employee number 16. And if Tony Burke thinks this is all so simple, as he says it is, the bill, listen to this, runs to 284 pages. That's the bill. But wait for it. The explanatory notes are contained in a 521-page memorandum. I mean, simple? I saw Andrew Clennell talking to Tony Burke about this today, and Andrew made the point quite rightly that this bill is the size of a house brick. Now, the chances of this getting past the Senate are pretty slim at best, especially when you've got, and I know I shouldn't, but I find Greens leader Adam Bowne highly amusing. Have a listen to his contribution today.
People need to be able to switch off when they clock off. When people go home from work, they shouldn't have to answer phone calls or emails or texts from their employer if they're not getting paid for it.
So Adam Bowne, in 2023, in this social media world where you go to bed looking at your phone and you turn it on when you wake up, he's expecting your boss to honour an invoice every time you look at your text message on your phone or read an email after hours. I mean, seriously, the Greens are such a waste of space. They live in la-la land. They are completely laughable. Now, this IR battle of political ideology is likely to be going all the way up until the next election in 2025.